Harry and Mark are two idiots. Two idiots who talk about things they don't know what they're talking about. The funny thing about idiots is they're idiots. They can run their mouths and talk about nothing. And yet the yarns they spin will weave you into a world of imagination and fear and temptation. And one of these nights, these two, talking on their podcast, are going to weave such a yarn that'll lead you straight into the Twilight Zone. Na, 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 na. Hi, folks. Welcome to Hitting Mark with Harry and Mark. I'm your co-host, Mark. This is my wonderful co-host, Harry.
Hello.
It's been a while. We've missed you, all half of Demetrius. We're looking forward to just chatting, getting back, resuming our normal thing. Funny enough, despite how hard it has been to kind of set back into our normal schedule, there hasn't really been much going on.
There really hasn't.
I mean,
Other
let's
than
rephrase.
other than pipelines being shut down and other random stuff, but not really
Yeah.
much in the scene of us of what we talk about.
Yeah. I mean, the world's kind of gone fucky, but whatever. We'll talk about that in the evening. Just glaze over it, glaze over it. Anyway, let's start with the usual. Harry,
Yes.
how has your month been?
My month. Man, I don't recall the past couple weeks. But I will say that I placed an order for magic cards. Um Actually probably the last time we did the podcast, and I had an issue where I wrote my address wrong, and when I tried to fix it, it was too late. They already sent my package. I was like, damn. So they're like, so they'll most likely come back to us, and then do you want us to refund you the money, or do you want us to resend it to you? I said, yeah, resend it. Like, I kind of want the cards. I'm like, okay, cool. So, time goes by, and then eventually, I get a little, email saying, hey, your package has been delivered. I'm like, oh, cool, awesome. So then, I get the package, I come from work, get the package, and my girlfriend is like, hey, your package is here. I was like, oh, cool. It's like, yeah, both of them. And I'm like, excuse me?
I know
Like,
where this is going.
yeah, like, I was like, what do you mean both of them? Like, oh, maybe it's not from this. Maybe it's a different package. I'm like, so we go look at it. No, exact same place that I ordered my one package from. I'm like, okay. I'm like, so then I was like, did they send me two? So I opened one up, and I was like, thinking maybe they split it into two. I don't know. I opened it up, and it's my exact package. Like, these are all the cards I ordered. I was like, what is the second one about? Is it like a sorry that you messed up your address? Like, gift or something? And so I
That's
opened it,
obviously it. They have a business practice where they send you something for you fucking up.
right? So then I open it, and it's the exact same order than the first one. So I'm sitting here with two orders of the exact same thing where I only paid for one. So that's been my week.
Harry, any
Yes.
instance where that happens, that's a good fucking week, pal.
Yeah. So I'm enjoying. I'm flying high right now.
Yeah, you better not come fucking down from that. You stay as high up as you can.
Mhm. Mhm.
You don't let the
Um.
COVID deniers get you.
How about yourself? How has your week been?
Hey Harry,
Yeah.
ask me how last Thursday was.
Hey, Mark. How was last
It was
Thursday?
fucking awful. It was fucking awful. That's how it was. I had a stomach flu. I wanted to die. I was in the worst pain of my life.
Oh, is
Yeah,
that why we didn't do a podcast? That makes sense.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what you would have heard? Ungodly, demonic, Lovecraftian sounds.
Hmm.
And then me begging for a reprieve in between
Reprieve.
those sounds. Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's not all sunshines and rainbows, huh? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's true. No.
I took a page from your book. I
Oh.
sinned. I committed the greatest sin of all. I went to the theater.
Ooh, please do tell.
I went with myself, obviously,
Yes.
and my own best friend. I went with my girlfriend, and I went with my Faja.
What did you
So
see?
we saw
Mortal
Army of
Kombat.
the Dead.
Okay.
No, nice fucking try. So we'll get into discussing the movie later, but or in a bit. But I don't know. I was bored at work. I was sifting through news articles and whatnot on my phone,
Mhm.
and I was kind of interested. I was waiting this Friday or last Friday for Army of the Dead to come out. I'm not really like that excited, but like the idea of a fun summer action flick coming out had piqued my interest. Like,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
this will be nice. This will be fun. And then I find out that they're actually releasing it like a week or two early in
Oh.
theaters. And my impulsive 5-year-old brain was like, I got to do this.
Mhm. Mhm.
So every hour on the hour, I was checking the Fandango site, right? I was
Mhm.
putting in my address and I was looking up the availability and the seating. Because it's like, funny enough, the theater mandating, social distancing when you're sitting technically creates like one of the most socially distanced experiences, but you're still in like a locked room and, you know, I would wager the seats aren't always cleaned after every seating.
Right.
But I'm vaccinated, my girlfriend, she is, my dad, vaccinated. I figured, you know what? We are two double layered condoms just going out, nothing can touch us. So
Yeah.
I checked, I went, I saw this movie. No one was there.
It was just you
Like
guys.
two groups of other people, and they were on opposite ends of the theater.
Okay.
We saw this movie, and like something in me just clicked
Mm.
when I sat down and I saw the trailer for Dune, which I'm still so excited for. I do think that'll probably be the next movie that I do see in theaters,
Yeah.
most likely. I'll try not to make a thing of it until things clear up a little bit. We are on the downturn of this, but still.
Yeah.
Um, and then watching this movie was fun. Like I
Okay.
have some things to say about this movie, but like nothing could have destroyed my enjoyment of this evening at all. So that was fun. That was really fun. And I didn't realize how much I missed it.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I would definitely, once this all clears up, we got to start doing movies again sometime.
Oh,
So,
totally agreed. I mean, like with
oh yeah.
my movie theater experience, like I enjoyed it. I can only imagine someone like you who go to the movie theaters all the time, you know,
Oh yeah.
and rewatch movies multiple times that you really enjoy. Um,
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah.
so I can imagine how good it felt for you to finally get back, to doing that.
So yeah, it's tough.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's like you're a single parent and you're on drugs and your
Mm-hmm.
kid had to get taken away from you because you're doing too many drugs,
Yeah.
and you got that one custody hearing with the child. You're like, oh God, it's so good to see you, but you're not finished with your probation, so you got to go back, and the kid's crying, and they got to pull him away, and they're asking, why are you pulling me away? And it's like, you're crying, they're crying, the judge is looking pissed, oh, you're a menace to society. But yeah, that's kind of what it felt like. Like I still have to wait. It's still pretty. I mean, the area that we're in, and I believe the area that you're in, our
Mm.
county it's orange, isn't it?
I do not pay attention to that, so I believe you.
Doesn't matter. Does not matter. Yeah, see, there you go. America Public for you. So, there's still a little bit of concern, um, we're still keeping our masks on. We're still being cautious, just to till things wind down a bit. But all the same, it was a great experience. Even better knowing that there weren't anyone around with like runny noses, kind of giving us like the look and making us kind of look at each other, kind of whether or not we're gonna do it. So, or whether or not we're gonna have to leave or something, because runny noses.
Yes.
So to show my age,
Mm-hmm.
because I've never been a reader, I've actually started picking up reading more. So I went through some of The Hobbit. Believe it or not, I didn't finish The Hobbit.
That's perfectly fine.
I will finish it, but I got as I've been mentioning, I've been getting to reading A Clash of Kings, and I read every evening. So I'll get off work, I'll take a shower, I'll hang out with my girlfriend, we'll do whatever, and then in the evening I'll put in like 20 pages. And when I was unemployed in the beginning of all this, my ass would be like a 90-page motherfucker a day. So it's weird reading this 600-page fucking tome, knowing that the next one's going to be even chonkier, and my ass is getting through it like a fucking tortoise. But it's good. Like, I'm reading it. I'm on one of Catelyn's chapters now, and Renly has just been killed by Stannis. Well, hold on. The show makes it abundantly clear that Stannis was like, I'm gonna have you killed. I'm gonna impregnate. I can't do his voice. Stephen McElhinney's great, but whatever. He impregnates Melisandre with the demon spawn, and Davos sails her into this little cove and gives birth to demon Stannis, right? So none of that happens in the book. In the book, Catelyn. So in the book, Catelyn goes to Renly, as she does in the show. We meet Brienne. We meet Marjorie. And she's like, I implore you, please, lay your swords and stop being a fucking shithead, Renly. Surrender the crown to fucking Stannis. But he's like, no.
Right.
In the book, he comes off as far more of a fucking dick.
Okay.
An honest dick, but like, he's not malicious. He's just like an arrogant fool who wants the crown.
Right.
And Stannis isn't much better. I mean, fucking Renly dies because they both can't reach an agreement. But like, that bit when the two of them meet and Catelyn is in the middle, Stannis is just like, it's mine by right. And Renly's like, what claim do you have, brother? And then Stannis is like, it's mine by right. And Renly's like, oh, well, what right did Robert have? And Stannis is like, it's mine by right. He's like, I don't even know if you could take, like, it's just jest after jest after jest. And Stannis is like, dude, just give me the fucking throne. Just give me the goddamn throne. Here's the deal. If I don't sire a child, which he probably never fucking will, I'll give you the throne when I die, you little shit. He's like, no. And Stannis is like, all right, fucking bye. And then couple chapters, Tyrion, Daenerys, whatever. And it goes back to Catelyn. Catelyn goes to Renly one last time, and as he's getting ready for battle, because that's what the whole point is, because Stannis invaded Storm's End.
Okay, yeah.
His like family's home. So he has Dragonstone. Renly has Storm's End because Robert just gave it to him, even though it should have been Stannis's. Yes. So when Catelyn is like, "Oh, we should join forces," at that point, Stannis invades Storm's End with like fucking a couple thousand people, while Renly has like 10 to 12,000 people with the strength of Highgarden. Yes. So Catelyn, back to the tent scene, is like, dude, you really need to cut this shit out. Like, come on. You're really telling me that, like, you fighting your brother and then trying to go to King's Landing is going to be a good idea. And in the middle of him being an arrogant prick, like, the shadow is, like, glimmering, or not glimmering, but, like, shivering in the background. And then it just stabs him square in the neck. And then Brienne sees it, and Catelyn sees it, and Brienne is, as the show does, is assumed to have been the killer, and they flee. And that's it. She just suspects without proof Stannis. And I'm just thinking, like, damn. I can't wait to see how they do that.
Yeah.
Because the only perspectives that we have that interact with that group are Catelyn and Davos. Right. And Davos at the moment has only like one chapter.
Okay.
And yeah, so I'm excited just because like there are some things that I do enjoy about the original show where it's like they add a lot of like heft to scenes and they add some more scenes that add some really great dynamics.
Yeah.
Like everything that they introduce with Varys and Peter Baelish, like him and Littlefinger in the show, they don't have as much of that like back and forth, which I love in the show.
Yeah.
Extra stuff with Jaime and Ned, which is really great because Jaime's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
He's not even in this book, man. Like,
whoa.
He's just up. Yeah, I know.
Huh.
In the show, right? They have like a bunch of scenes where he's like chained to a tent, right?
Yes.
I'm 421 pages in, and like they're just mentioning that they have him as a hostage. Like, we follow Bran, Arya, Sansa, Catelyn, Tyrion, Daenerys, and Theon. Theon's like my least favorite character to read about at the moment. And Daenerys at the moment has only had 2 chapters.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
anywho. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just thinking about like popularity wise. I'm sure after season 1, like people were showing like, I like this character, I like their character, blah 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 blah, and the writers were like, well, this person has a lot of fan base, so we should probably put this person more on screen and write more for them. And shit. Like, follow the book to, story wise, but like if there's like a scene with this character, like let's put more of them in there,
Yeah.
But also,
I think, oh, go ahead.
I was saying, but also I was thinking because I'll say Tolkien, the writer dude, like, because he had a lot of influence in the story, right? Like early on.
Yeah, he ended up actually writing a couple really great episodes too.
Yeah, because I was thinking, like, I wonder if like there's certain things that he couldn't do in the books that he can do visually. You know what I mean? Maybe that's
absolutely.
why he added.
So,
go ahead.
One of the things, I'm sorry, I only wanted to interject because I think it pertains to what you were saying.
Yes.
Ramsay Bolton, they introduce him in this book.
Okay.
So, I know this because I've seen the fucking show.
Right.
But where we go with this? Okay, so most of this follows Bran's story. So he's like kind of stewarding Winterfell, right? And he's inviting a bunch of lords and whatnot. And they have Lady Danella Hornwood over, and she's a widow from from her husband dying in the Whispering Wood.
Yeah.
This battle that where Robb captures Jaime.
Yeah.
So she's in a precarious position because you find out that the Boltons actually want that territory, and you're thinking, oh, those cute Boltons, it's no big deal. They're just kind of the assholes of the North, right? It's like they're not that bad. But then you find out that like, nope, apparently Ramsay's bastard has absconded with her and forced her to marriage under knife point.
Oh.
And then what's his name? Roderick Castle, the dude with the Converse laces beard.
Yeah.
In like the first and second season, they send him to scuttle away the Bolton forces, but it's too late. The Boltons have the Hornwood land now, and Lady Danella Hornwood like just dies.
Oh wow!
Like they just left her in a castle and she just died. You find out that they killed Ramsay Snow, and he was accompanied with his servant Harry Reek. So Ramsay Snow is, if you could see the finger quote, dead, finger quote, and they pulled in this man called Reek, and Reek is his servant. Now, I'm guessing because what you were saying, because of the whole visual medium,
Yeah.
Reek is Ramsay, and his servant, Ramsay ordered Reek double as him, and that's how he survived, because they didn't kill Ramsay, they killed the original Reek.
That makes sense.
Because he's not, and he's in Winterfell right now. Sir Roderick Castle brought him back and put him in the dungeons, and the Reeds, Jojen and Mira Reed, they're chilling with Bran too. Like, this isn't one of those like, oh, we'll meet him after he's left Winterfell. They're like, yo, Bran, you're pretty cool. What's up? I also have the green side too, pal. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
So, seeing a lot of the stuff that they're doing, I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of legwork that they put into with the book that they kind of like streamlined in a very like uninteresting way. Now that I see the differences,
Yeah.
like we don't meet Ramsay Snow yet. Like I get that, like my theory is like that he's Reek right now, but like you could have done the same thing in season 2 where it's like, oh, we just hear about Roose Bolton's bastard, but we don't know what he looks like. Oh, we just brought in his servant Reek, and it's just this guy. And then later on, you're like, yeah, no, I was Ramsay Snow, and I just had my servant pretend to be me and get shot in the back of the head with an arrow. Like, that shit would have been cool.
Yeah.
But whatever. But yeah, so I'm liking it. I'm trying to read more, make my brain not hurty.
I agree.
But yeah, it's something. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know all that.
Anywho,
That's dope. Like
it's fun. It's
Yeah.
fun stuff. My favorite, it has no like thematic weight or thematic purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, it does. It has a narrative purpose. But it's the first chapter in Daenerys's arc, right?
Okay.
And it's talking about how like, oh, they're in the red waste after the dragons have hatched. Only the strongest of her Khalasar are still alive, and they're gonna die because they don't have any resources and sweltering heat and all this and all that and this and that, whatever. So they come across this small, like, it's not a village. It's like a ringed city in the middle of the desert, this flat, barren desert, right? And I just imagine this place being just completely empty. And they're talking about how, like, oh, we wonder what happened to this because it's completely deserted. We wonder what happened to this place. The Dothraki must have raided it long ago and took its gods, because you know how they do their thing, right? They like conquer other people and have them build their stuff, and they take the architecture and their god statues and they put them at Vaes Dothrak. And Vaes Dothrak is literally just like this open fucking miles long like valley with all of the architecture and godly statues of the people that they conquered. So they're kind of like, oh, this must be the place of, the people that we must have conquered sometime before. And it's just, I don't know. It feels serene and beautiful and desolate. And they're like, oh, we can't stay here. We have all the food and water that we could want, but there's no growth here. And there may be ghosts, the ghosts of the people before. I don't know. When I think about it, I think of like how the place would look, how it has like some shadow and some light to it, and I don't know. It's just fun to look at and think about. I don't know. Whatever.
Okay.
Fuck it. You know when you're reading something and your mind like just perfectly thinks of something? It's like that. Whenever I'm fucking reading something, I always think gray blob with gray thing in their hand in a gray background. And when I thought of this moment, I don't know. I'm describing it poorly, but like I had every fucking god ray and every stone like perfectly in my mind's eye. And that shit,
Mm,
oh man, that was so cool.
sick.
Yeah. All right.
On
Moving on.
moving on.
Moving on. Did you have anything that you wanted to contribute, Harry?
The to that topic, no. But um Horizon, Forbidden West, I believe it's called.
Mm-hmm.
They're just today breaking
Forbidden,
news.
not allowed left.
Yeah. um they released some more gameplay. So all right, so the state of play was about 5.5 hours plus.
Mm-hmm.
It was 5 hours of them showing Horizon Forbidden West landscape. So like
Okay.
would have one snippet of like an area and kind of like, kind of go over like a, like a camera over like, and then it would like shift over to another area and so on and so on. And it was doing that for like 5 hours. Which visually looked great, but I'm glad I didn't watch this live because I would have just been upset because I'm like, what the fuck is this? It's just straight 5 hours of that, like no talking, no, it's just landscape.
Okay.
And then at the very end, they finally showed gameplay, about like half an hour worth of gameplay.
So half an hour for how many hours of just
Yeah,
landscape waiting?
exactly. Yeah, I just like I watched it on YouTube afterwards. Obviously, like I just kind of skipped through the entire 5 hours. And I was like, is this really 5 hours? And I just kind of went really fast. And I was like, this is literally 5 hours of fucking landscape. Wow. And then so the gameplay, it looks like Horizon for Zero Dawn. It's beautiful, colorful. The mechanics. It seems like everything that was in the first one is going to be in the second one, and obviously plus more.
Okay.
It's funny because I'm sure I talked about it before where I was playing Just Cause not too long ago. Finally platinumed it. But
Nice.
they
Everyone give
actually
a round of applause to Harry.
woo
Yeah.
they added some form of grappling hook to Horizon, and you can actually put up some weird parachute as well. So you can
Took them long enough.
grappling hook onto something and then parachute. And I was like, wait,
Okay.
that's in Just Cause 4. It's
I
just
think you've been cheated, Harry.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't mind it in other games. It's just like I don't know. I gotta experience it in a game like Horizon just because it's it's not meant to be just that, right? Where like Just
Yeah.
Cause's thing is grappling hook and parachute, right? And like wingsuit kind of shit. Um so I would love to experience this to see like if like the mechanic is like super, it's like that's all you do to go around. Because I mean, well, the thing is, it's weird because Just Cause has you can get in vehicles and stuff, but also Horizon you can ride fucking mechanical beasts. So I don't know. I'm kind of intrigued to see how that works out. But it's looking
Agreed.
good, and I think the most intriguing part for probably both of us is that it's set out in the West, San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited to see how San Francisco's portrayed
Mm-hmm.
in this video game.
So
Side
in
Go ahead.
the original, the first one, it's what, the American Northwest, or where is it?
I have no idea. Google, where hold on. Where
Google magic,
was
folks.
Horizon Zero Dawn set? Let's see. Colorado. That makes sense.
God, who the fuck sets their dinosaur robot epic in fucking Colorado?
I don't know. But
The moment they changed Watch Dogs
yeah.
from fucking lukewarm ass Chicago to San Francisco, series just changed for the better, one would say, which
Yeah.
is what they're doing now with Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah. It went from good to better.
Oh yeah, yeah. Go continue. My apologies.
No. So yeah, most intriguing parts because we're from the Bay Area, so like to see
Mm-hmm.
how it is. So I don't know if you know the lore behind the original
Not
Horizon.
entirely. I know there was some kind of like technological event that wiped out like conventional technology. There's some kind of weird techno-biological plague. Um, Dinosaurs, impractical dinosaurs, whatever.
Yeah. So basically, it's based off of like our world now, like 1,000 years in the future, where this apocalypse happens. Um,
Okay.
and so it's kind of just like yeah, there's like mechanical stuff, and like if you play the game, it kind of explains why there's mechanical beasts running around and what happened and all that stuff. So, it's a great game. Obviously visually was beautiful, but like story wise, you get really into it after a bit.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I'm here. Sadly I haven't had a PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5, but
mm,
I've only ever heard good things about Horizon. Like
mm,
everything I've ever heard is just, oh man, this game fucking rocks. It's beautiful. It's got a cool story. Maybe a little like leaving people to want more, I would assume from what I hear, but like
mm.
solid gameplay, solid story. I'm looking forward to seeing how this is too.
Yeah. So but that is Horizon. I mean the new gameplay. I was hoping, or maybe down the road, because I heard that the original they're trying to add co-op. Um,
Ah,
which I would be super stoked for, but
that would be
um,
fun for tackling like some of the bigger mecha.
yes. So I would hope maybe they add that. I don't want a multiplayer. I want co-op. Like online co-op obviously
Yeah,
is okay, but like I want to be able to sit down, on in front of a TV with someone and play that game, or you know, just play with a friend, some co-op online, and, play
agreed,
the same way.
agreed.
Like
I think in this regard, co-op is something that's really underutilized.
yes, 100%.
Just all the way, just something that is really taken for granted, I think, in terms of like how to play games. Like Journey, I think is a great
Hmm.
example. One of the last few games I genuinely enjoyed on the PlayStation 3. You can't you can't communicate with anyone, but the possible cooperative nature of the game is so breathtaking.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah. So that would be good. A good topic maybe down the road. Um, just just where LAN is coming. Like LAN has kind of been a thing that people don't talk like because online's everything, and most LAN things are only based around multiplayer. But like
hmm,
LAN games, like co-op wise, you know what I mean? Like where I can like set up two consoles to play, just to each other, like Left 4 Dead style,
right.
just to play like a campaign together and shit like that. Like that's something that I like. But that would be a cool topic down the road.
I think it's like what we seem to keep bitching and moaning about is the I don't think co-op is necessarily as marketable as
True.
multiplayer. I mean, it's like you not the pinnacle, but I
Mm,
remember when like everyone thought four-player co-op Halo 3 was like the end in 2007. Like it was the pinnacle of gameplay. Like you
yeah.
could play with four people in one campaign. Oh,
True.
yeah. But now we live in an alternate universe where everything's marketed for multiplayer.
Yeah. It sucks.
Yeah, well, no, it's not too bad. You just have to navigate it yourself.
Yeah, fair enough.
But actually, I did want to bring up a quick topic.
Mhm.
How you were talking about the grappling hook. I saw while you were playing, or while you were talking about the video, I did watch some of the Forbidden West,
Okay.
and some of the grappling stuff looks a little more, I would say, contextual.
Actual. Okay.
Yeah, a little less. I wanted to bring up the idea of like game feel or
Mhm.
gameplay feel. Like, how does one of the things that I've always pictured about the Just Cause series is that it's a fairly average gameplay franchise,
Mhm.
but the grappling has such a great game feel that it's so very fun.
Okay.
Again, don't know how valid that is. I, could be talking out my ass. But the idea
Mm.
of like playing a game where you can have that kind of fun with a grappling hook, or like essentially the entirety of your franchise is based around this grappling hook, represents like, oh, hey, we kind of have something in terms of game feel. Like it
Yeah.
just feels good to use. I wonder if it'll. I mean, Horizon Zero Dawn looks great. I will never not say that. And the gameplay looks fun. But when I saw the grappling hook stuff, it looked fairly generic.
Yeah.
That and the parachute. And again, this is not knocking. It's just something that I notice
Yeah.
while looking at this. Where it's like it's just another kind of like contemporary game feature that they
Mhm.
have where it's like, oh, you know, there are a couple other franchises that are using it, or, this is one that seems to be very popular in other games. Let's just incorporate it because it makes our game a little easier.
Hmm.
Like that
So.
strikes me as something where it's like, okay, well, the first game people loved, but people seem to have had an issue with traversal, and the
Oh,
same thing
okay.
with the parachute too. Like,
Mhm. Mhm.
you know, uh, the parachute is something that they brought in with Breath of the Wild and Phoenix Rising, where it's like you have a parachute that you're using, and
Okay.
it helps with traversal so that you're not just like falling to your death.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, it does still look fun though. Again,
Yes.
in no way am I trashing it. I'm just noting something that I picked up on when I was watching it when we were talking about the grappling mechanic.
Continuing our talks with video games. Um, what are your thoughts on Ark?
Oh, yes. For anyone who doesn't know, Ark is a resource management survival game set on, well, it's probably a bunch now, but in an environment where you're surviving against like dinosaurs and prehistoric creatures and some mythical as fuck creatures. It's fun. I think I'm drawn to games more for the first person, like not necessarily first person, but more the campaign, the story.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I tend to only really like games of that caliber when I'm playing with other people.
Yes.
So you, me, and Yved, or you, Yved, and I, that's where I get my enjoyment from.
Mm-hmm.
It's a game where you can play with multiple people. You're on a server. You can have like a population of like 100. You're all just fucking each other, right? With resources and weapons and monsters and dinosaurs and whatnot. Um, but I just kind of like I've never been a fan of like the Rust, Valheim kind of like resource management, crafting, building, survival to craft
Yeah.
and build more stuff. Like I don't like that loop in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. I understand that it creates like a grind and replayability, and for people who are interested in keeping that, that's fine. Um, this isn't a knock. Like I don't hate the game. I enjoy it because I play it with my friends.
Yeah.
If I think that's the main appeal of Ark. If you're playing it on your own and you just fucking tranquilize a T-Rex, feed it, and then like you're on top of it, and you have like
the desire to look to your right and no one's there, and look to your left and no one's there is like, oh, cool, you conquered a T-Rex, whatever. But if like, if a Ved is up for 5 hours taming an eagle while you and I are jerking off, and we come back in when he has the eagle, but it's dead, he can still look at us left to right and be like, hey, I got the eagle. And we're like, hey, that's pretty fucking cool. We all did that together.
Yeah. Or even better, while we're trying to find the material to capture the eagle, a T-Rex attacks us and we kill it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That was a completely hypothetical story. That totally didn't fucking happen.
Yup.
But like, it's like one of those typical games where it's like you're put in this big fucking environment, you've got a couple people on the map, and there are things trying to kill you, and it's fun. It's really fun where it's like, this is my first genuine experience playing a game like that. I've just never been interested in that kind of genre because I haven't really had anyone interested in playing it, so I haven't put the time in.
Yeah.
But like the idea of like just clubbing a fucking dodo on the head and just using it to make other stuff to club more dodos on the head to make a house, that's kind of fun. And it's even funner when you're kind of like in crunch mode where it's like, oh, we got to kill this together. Like that's the part that I think is fun.
Yes.
Is genuinely enjoyable. Where it's like you, Ed, and I are like, kill the T-Rex, kill the, oh god, I can fucking swim. Oh.
Yeah.
So like that's the fun part.
Or like there's Carnivore Island, and then I start swimming towards it, and you guys are like, okay, have fun with that, and then I drown.
And yeah, you realize that it's farther than you expect, and you fucking die.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember last week when it was Ed and I just playing, and he was getting one of the pterodactyls. Oh, by the way, you could tame fucking dinosaurs and shit, and we tamed a bunch of pterodactyls and we're fucking flying them all over the place.
It's true.
He took me over to the swamp area, and we parked our pterodactyls, and I got on mine first after just perusing the area. And I looked back, and I'm like, Ed, get on your pterodactyl. I was like, wait, why? Snake! And there's this, one of the things he didn't fucking tell me is that in that specific biome of the map, they're fucking giant ass boa conda constrictors. Like, I'm talking fucking boa versus croc from those sci-fi movies. Huge. Huge! I almost shat myself. Oh, and there are yetis.
Oh, yes.
But it's like that where it's like you could run into a T-Rex, that should be weird. You could run into like a robot dinosaur, and that'll be equally fucking cool. Like, I like that I've come across a game where it's like I don't know anything about it other than that there were dinosaurs in the first place, and I'm pleasantly surprised that there are other things in it.
Yeah.
And what about you, Bear?
My favorite part is the character customization. Hands down my favorite.
Oh god. Harry and I didn't plan this, folks, but he made a character with just impractically large biceps and impractically large thighs.
Yep.
And a fucking small ass neck, and I made the exact opposite. Or no, a small neck and a big head.
Yeah.
And I made the exact opposite. I made this big, like, fucking meaty Popeye the Sailor Man looking thing where it's like he's got these scrawny ass biceps and these giant feelers and these big fucking calves and a big shoulder and short neck and a tiny head. And it's so good.
Amazing.
And then when we put these characters together like 2 weeks ago, Yvette just looks at the two of us, and he's got this tiny, like, everything is scrawny. He's like,
yeah.
You know your hitboxes are based off of the size and shape of your character, right? I'm like, fuck, oh well.
Fuck.
We're here for the fun.
Yeah. And silliness.
Damn,
yeah, I agree.
Straight.
It's a fun game. Like, I'm sure there are games out there that are like not fun even when you play with your friends, but this is definitely one of those that you can have
that is
you can have a lot of fun playing with friends. I'm sure you can have fun playing on your own if you're into that, but for the most part, I dig it. It was worth
Agreed.
the monies.
Oh, you mean the downloading it on the wrong channel or store,
Yeah,
and then
that one.
downloading it on the right one?
Yep, exactly that one.
Fool. Fool of a fucking toque.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna transition into movies.
Mhm.
So let's talk about Army of the Dead because
Okay.
you already brought it up. So let's talk to me about um Army of the Dead.
Have you seen it?
I have not.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I'm planning to see it. I think at
Oh,
some
okay.
point,
Yeah,
I'm
you'll
sure
get to it.
I'm
It's
sure I'll
free as
watch
fuck.
it. Yeah, it's free. I'm gonna watch it at some point. Just not anytime. Like there's other movies I'd prefer to watch it than
Oh, of
Army of the
course.
Dead. So, but yeah, go for it. Spoil all over me.
Okay. Brief,
Yes,
and I mean brief
brief.
synopsis plot.
Mhm.
Essentially, the cargo contents from a military convoy is damaged when two Las Vegas newlyweds are performing Roadhead.
Interesting.
And Zeus, as he's called in the credits,
Yeah.
this hyper intelligent, fast zombie, um, descends upon Las Vegas. In which case, we are introduced to our characters. Dave Bautista's character mainly is the only one we particularly really need to care about at the moment.
Oh.
He is a vet who has been tossed aside,
Mm.
and he's working at a burger joint. He's hired by some kind of Japanese business dude to essentially retrieve 500 million or 5 million or what money.
There's a
He's
5
sent.
and a million.
Yeah, there's a million in there somewhere. He's tasked with retrieving this money, and if he gets it back, he can get a percentage. He can assemble whatever team he wants. He assembles a ragtag group of ex-vets, and he's like, oh, we kind of got shot on by our government, so let's do this for ourselves for once. So he hires an old partner, two old partners. They hire some. Hold on. They hire a random German dude who works at a locksmith.
Okay.
To just pick apparently the world's most complex safe in the world. I just want that to sink in a moment, and we'll get back to that. They hire some essentially like some stunt YouTuber or stunt TikToker or whatever it is in their universe who goes into the Vegas area and just pop zombies like left and right. Who else? The businessman's like security chief goes. He's the Burke of the group from Aliens, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They have a coyote, a fucking King Diamond listening to bleached blonde hair badass chick who's got nightmares and shit, and she leads Dave Bautista's daughter's coworkers through the barrier, the wall that separates all of Las Vegas from the rest of the world to kind of get cash. There are like all these scalpers and or scavengers who go into Vegas with supervision illegally to like get cash. And her friend, who's working as part of like a relief group right outside the bounds of Las Vegas with a bunch of other refugees, tries to go in there to get money to get her family out of that little area. She doesn't come back. So the daughter's like, Dave Bautista, Dad, who I've been estranged with for so long, I'm coming with you. And he's like, no, you're not. And she's like, yes, I am. And he's like, fine. So they bring the coyote along. So they get in, they sacrifice some asshole dude. It was really fucked up. they're like, oh, hey, this guy's being set up as an asshole. You want to get sacrificed for like $20,000? Fuck, I love $20,000. Shot in the leg, and they just like sacrifice him to the smart zombies to be left
My.
alone.
Okay.
So you find out that Zeus, whenever he bites a zombie, or not a zombie, whenever he bites someone, they turn quickly into like beta zombies, you could call them. They're still
Okay.
fast, they have a bit of intelligence, and then the beta zombies bite people and feast on people, and they just become regular slow moving zombies.
Okay.
So Zeus has a bunch of like betas. He has like a city of them, right? And he's just doing his thing with like this one female zombie, and they're kind of like in love, and it's implied, no, not implied, she's pregnant.
Okay.
With a zombie thing, right? So you find out that like, so they get to the casino and they're doing all these stupid hijinks shit, and then the Burke character kills Zeus's girlfriend and like fucking piano chords her head off and is like, heh, you know how much this sucker's worth? Well, the United States military is gonna make its own zombie army, heh, mustache twirl. And then that triggers Zeus to be like, well, god fucking damn it, you couldn't just leave me alone. So, oh, by the way, this is all happening right before they're gonna drop a fucking nuclear warhead on Vegas. Just want to throw that the fuck out there. I put as much effort into mentioning that as the fucking movie did, so just keep that in mind. They rob the safe, except the Burke dude was like, "Ha, I just wanted the head, bitch," and locks them all in there and fucks everything up for all of them. Zeus comes, wrecks a bunch of the people. Dave Bautista gets away, gets his daughter. He dies, or he crashes the helicopter that they escape on that gets Wait, god damn it. I'm trying to figure out how to explain this.
Yep.
They get on the helicopter, they escape, and get out of bounds as the warhead blows up. Zeus is already on the chopper. They have a little fight. He bites Dave Bautista. Bautista blows his brains out. It crashes. Bautista and the daughter have a heart-to-heart. Oh God, I'm so sorry. We were estranged for the stupidest reason. And then she kills him. And it should have ended right there, except there's an extra 5 minutes tacked onto the movie where the second in command character, one of the secondary characters, who I actually kind of liked, fucking crawls his way out of the safe into the rubble of Vegas with fucking 7 bags of cash on his body, and his ass is just waddling in the desert to the nearest fucking signs of life. He rents a fucking private jet, right? And he's just having a good time. He's drinking some wine. He gets the stewardess to have some too, and then he kind of topples over and he's like, "Oh God, oh man, I'm kind of clammy. Oh man, oh shit, oh." Goes into the bathroom and he fucking, oh wait, I wonder why he's been wearing that scarf on his shoulder so weirdly. And you find out that he was fucking bit. The movie fucking ends. So, it's fine. It's entertaining. It's everything that I actually kind of want. Well, that's not true. It's most of what I wanted. I like heist movies. I like zombie movies. I like that they did both.
Yes.
Batista's pretty good in it. Like, I don't know if it's because he has bad direction, but there's a lot of parts where it's like he's just looking. He's squinting and he's just looking out. Just, oh, you know, man, I thought you weren't talking because of this, and it's like he's talking, but like he'll like look over at the actress playing his daughter for like a moment, and then look back, just glaring off into the sunset.
Okay.
Every character has like a paper thin motivation, and isn't even really given enough like characterization. the only character to come out of it alive technically is the daughter. So,
Mhm.
let's see. They introduce a Chola character who has like the coolest like action sequence, and they kill her off. She's the first one to go. She's the
Sounds
stunt
all right.
YouTuber dude's friend.
Okay.
What am I saying? Hold on, I have to reacclimate my thoughts.
Yeah. No, go for it.
So the characters don't fucking matter. I'm not even gonna get into bullshit with all the characters.
Yeah.
What bothers me is that like there are some really great moments where you can get to know the characters, where they just throw that to the side just to kill them off.
Okay. That sounds.
So
Yeah.
what I fucking hate, one of the scenes that like I just thought was so stupid is there's this female second in command character. She's like the badass like 40 something like Hispanic commander to Dave Bautista, and they kind of like treat her like the buddy's best friend, and there's no indication of this whatsoever, but she has a thing for Bautista's character, right?
Okay.
She says this an hour and a half or an hour and 45 minutes into the movie. They've gotten the cash. They've done all the stupid hijinks to get the cash. She says, man, I don't care about the money. I did it because I wanted to be with you and I wanted to be around you. And then not 2 fucking minutes later, Batista's like, all right, we got to go. You got my back? And she's like, of course. And she's walking up to the elevator. And by this time, the truce has been broken and Zeus has sent all of his fucking minions up to this casino.
Okay.
She presses the button for the elevator. It comes up and it's packed with zombies. And this is all in the span of like a minute. And it just snaps her neck backwards.
Huh.
And it's played off as like, oh, this is so gruesome. And it's really fucking awful how she dies. She dies the fucking worst. So they have this moment where, you know, the hallway, they're blowing up all the zombies there. And then we look back at her and her ass is fucking alive for like another 30 seconds and a fucking single tear goes down her eye. And I'm like, oh, that's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
So then the stunt YouTuber dude, his ass is just running in the lobby of the casino, shooting off the zombies, and just fucking trips or something. I can't fucking remember. And he just blows himself up. And his ass, this was one of the like the cooler characters.
Yeah.
Fucking so the coyote chick, who is literally just like a random companion from Skyrim in this fucking movie. How she's introduced is literally they're at the like the FEMA WHO whatever camp in the beginning.
Okay. Yeah.
And the girl is talking to the daughter character like, man, I gotta get my kids out of here and we gotta get the money and da 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 da. And she literally says, there's a coyote over there, and it's just this woman with platinum blonde hair and like a black outfit just sitting in front of a fire with a gun in her hand. And then it goes back and like, yeah, I'm gonna hire her to do all this. Yeah. So her ass has like a crisis. They like do something with her character where it's like, how many people have you left behind here? And she's like, I have only left a handful of people behind that I've had to leave behind. It doesn't weigh easily on me. And da 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 this. And so that doesn't go anywhere because like, well, it kind of goes somewhere, but it just isn't satisfying because it's like she sacrifices herself kind of. Basically, she finds out that the dude took the queen's head, Hera's head, or if that's even the proper name for her, and she swaps it out and she uses it as like a hostage against Zeus as he's like on the roof, like about to like tackle the helicopter that they're using to get out, and she's got the gun to its head, and he just takes a spear and just rams it through her, and that's it.
Oh.
So she fucking dies. Yeah, the Burke character, he gets like a glorified 2-minute death scene for being an asshole. God. But none of these fucking characters matter. Like,
yeah,
I don't like. I wanted the I wanted the black guy to live. The black guy is the guy who literally is the guy with the infection in the end. He pairs up with the annoying German safecracker, and like they have what feels like a relationship, but it's nothing. And there's this like heartfelt scene where it's like, oh no, the guy's gonna get bit, even though he already fucking was. And Dieter, the safecracker dude, pushes Zeus out of the way and pushes the guy into the safe and closes it on him, and you never see the guy die. You don't see anything. He just closes it and that's it. So yeah, none of these fucking characters matter. Even though they're all gonna die, it was kind of a bummer that we didn't really get the chance to get to know any of them. None of them really had a personality. The only one I liked was Tig Notaro. Tig Notaro is a comedian. She plays the pilot. In fact, her part is actually really interesting because Chris D'Elia, or doesn't matter, the previous person cast in that part was actually fired after completing his scenes. Because of sexual misconduct allegations.
Oh, okay.
So Zack Snyder dropped him the fuck off and hired Tig Notaro and just reshot all of his scenes with her on green screen, and she's just put in there, and it feels so weird when you realize it after the fact. There's this bit where in the beginning Batista's like, hey, we need you for a job, and she's like, how much does it pay? And he's like, $2 million. He's like, done, I'm in, whatever, cool thing, cool, whatever. She's kind of like not the nihilist, like the bored, I'll do anything, just give me something to do character.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if it's because like she's a good actor or just that's just who she is, but like her dry, deadpan wit is like, in my opinion, the thing that heightens the comedy in the movie.
Okay.
Let's see. I really, really, really wanted a fucking Lich ass reference.
Yeah.
That's all
That
I
would've been
wanted.
dope.
Because there's a bit when they find Hera, I'm just gonna call her Hera, the zombie queen girlfriend.
Yep.
Where they get her body back and she's headless, right?
Yeah.
And Zeus is mourning the body, and it's like they give this dude more character than anyone else. And like he plunges his hands into her stomach and pulls out a fucking baby.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, that's kind of fucking cool. I wonder where they'll go with this. And I'm like, so the real ending of this movie should have been the bomb doesn't go off, and the last scene you see is the baby, and it's like head is pulsating because it's got one of those overdeveloped brains.
Yep.
And the betas are all twitching, reacting to the brain commanding them, and like hundreds of them come around and lift the baby up.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
And it's like there now you have like a cool like mythological class or like monster from D&D brought into like this cool world, because you never see that. You've never seen a Lich character before in a movie. I mean, I get that you probably kind of have, but like the idea of taking like zombies and then using that like an undead necromancer Lich and putting that in a movie would have been so goddamn cool. But you didn't fucking get that. My favorite joke about this movie is that it's Zack Snyder's most progressive movie. It's the story of an American military group intervening in a third world developing country.
Huh.
Because, Zeus wants to be left alone, and it's heartbreaking. It's like Rambo or some other thing, or Conan. Because, Zeus just wants to be left alone. They kill his wife, and he has to go to war.
Yep.
I didn't start this. I actually ran. Okay, so I'm gonna get the listless, unorganized stuff out of the way. Okay. The acting was fine. I didn't expect much. I thought the characters were paper thin. The movie was too long.
Yep.
And the directing was a little odd. I'm not going to say it's bad. I give Zack Snyder a lot of credit. I don't think he should write, but I think he's an okay cinematographer, even if I don't care for some of his cinematography. That's out of the way. So he did a couple homage bits that I enjoyed. He referenced Star Wars once or twice. He referenced An American Werewolf in London, which I got immediately. But there were two parts that I noticed that I sensed a problem.
Okay.
So the Coyote character is standing watch with Burke, and I'm saying Burke for a very specific reason because we'll get to that.
Okay.
Burke kills Hera and cuts her head off with the Coyote watching, and she's not okay with it, but
Okay.
she puts up with it, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of that scene, she says, "Well, at least you don't see them fucking each other over."
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so that's kind of like an Aliens reference. Cool. They put in a couple homage scenes. It may be a bit much, but whatever. Then there's a scene. It's the last portion of the movie in the third act when Dave Bautista's daughter's character gets separated from Bautista. And he goes to that building and urges the pilot character to stay on top of the roof.
Yeah.
And he goes down, gets her, and Zeus is following them, right?
Mm-hmm.
He gets to the roof, and the pilot left.
Oh.
And he almost quite literally says, "Damn it, she left." Then the pilot comes back, and they pick him up, and they presume to have like a little bit of a fight scene on the chopper. The warhead explodes, yada yada.
Yeah.
And it's there that I realized that this movie is a worse, cheaper, and not as well-paced version of Aliens.
Okay.
So, a military group sent into an area to do some retrieval. They find a female character, or they have a female character. She gets separated. They go to find her. It hits all of the same plot beats that Aliens hits. It even has the queen, Zeus, in some respect. And it's almost whole cloth. I get that there's a difference. I get, it's zombies. Oh, this part happened 20 minutes prior, but like, you could take the general plot and bumps and high notes of this movie and just fucking graft it onto Aliens, and it would almost be a match.
Yeah.
Which is a little disappointing, in my opinion.
Okay.
There are some forced arbitrary things that accelerate the plot. They talk about like, oh, we have like 24 hours to get the money, and then they put on power to the casino, and then they're on the news, and it's like, oh, the president decided to do it 23 hours sooner, so they're like, oh, we only have an hour, we have to go. And then fucking before the the safe opens, Dieter's talking about how there are all these like countermeasures, and we messed up a bunch of times, and I'm like, well, that would have been a really great really great suspense tool if we'd have known about that before.
Yeah.
Like, he's talking about how they're like, oh, there are 3 tumblers and 2 of them already ruptured, and I only have 1 chance. And he says this again, the same thing with the chick dying, 30 seconds without any real tension right before opening the fucking safe.
Mm.
Yeah, so I think the action was more of the focus. It was a fun movie. I think there's things that they did that they knew would amp up tension, but they didn't really know how to do it. So they just threw it in there. This movie could have easily been like 130 minutes or 2 hours flat, and still could have had a far better like resonance, in my opinion. I'm still of the mind that a fucking Lich Baby would have been fucking awesome.
That sounds pretty dope. I'd be behind that.
because they've done the whole, smart zombie thing a handful of times, and I don't mind that, especially with how they're doing it this time, where it's like aliens, where it's
Yeah.
like some kind of alien spore. But they didn't really do anything with it. I mean, vampires and zombies are typically the easiest, like one-to-one, not one-to-one, but metaphor typically for like some kind of societal ill, right?
Yeah.
And I thought they were going to try doing something with it, like the consumerism of Las Vegas, or but it's just a zombie thing, and that wasn't bad. But I felt like there was a lot of potential that was squandered, and all of the wrong things were amplified while all the characters kind of got bullshitted.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like Zack Snyder's Zack Snyder. Is that no?
Snyder, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Like his, I think he's cool. I don't know. I I don't watch enough films. I don't critique enough films to decide or you know be like, oh, this is how he is as a director, and blah blah blah. But like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I feel like his films are a little overhyped for me. I
Yeah,
just
that's fair.
like,
I've never been a personal fan of him when it came to like Dawn of the Dead, because I feel like how he made it was almost antithetical
yeah,
to how George A. Romero meant for it to be. Because
okay,
George A. Romero was making like Maggie Mae Fish is a YouTuber who I'm getting most of my interpretation that I agree with, mind you,
yeah,
from her. She makes a comment. I mean, this part I knew beforehand, that the original 70s Dawn of the Dead was meant to be like a commentary on consumerism.
mm-hmm,
It's set in a mall for a reason. The zombies are less a zombie and more of a stand-in for something else.
yeah,
And then Zack Snyder's is, oh, it's a religious curse, or it's a religious apocalypse for your infidelities, your gay sex, and all that kind of stuff.
mm-hmm,
Again, I'm taking this from a YouTuber who reviews things with a feminist lens. Um,
yeah,
I don't disagree with what she says. You have to interpret things in a movie based on the information that you're given, and he does provide a lot of information that kind of steers to a kind of a conservative bend.
uh-huh,
The original is meant to criticize capitalism and consumerism, while the other one is just kind of steeped in like religious fundamentalism, whether it's intentional or not.
right,
So, but again, I, I'm not trying to be on the hype, the harp. I'm not trying to harp on Zack Schneider.
right,
I
right,
enjoy his work. They're very visually interesting films. Um,
yes,
I especially found his attempt with this movie to be the director and the cinematographer interesting. He does a couple interesting choices. I would like to see him do some more interesting choices with his filmmaking, maybe refine it after this movie. But
mm-hmm,
I don't particularly like his movies all that much,
okay,
just as movies.
yeah, I get
But
behind
yeah,
that.
and it's just a preference, and that's fine. Thankfully, I'm with someone who agrees with me, so I
Um,
don't have to defend my opinion.
yeah, that's definitely good. So um, with talking about Army of the Dead and being in a movie that came out, let's talk about some other movies that are bound to be coming out. You actually talked about a trailer of one said movie.
Yes. So there were two that caught my eye at the
Okay.
moment. So one of them I'll get out of the way is Last Night in Soho.
That's nice.
So
Okay.
for anyone who's a fan of Edgar Wright, he did Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, The World's End, Scott Pilgrim versus the World, Baby Driver. This is his. This almost sounds unfair, mischaracterized. This is his first foray into the horror genre.
Hmm.
Um, the suspense horror. I know Shaun of the Dead could probably be considered horror. I know probably Hot Fuzz. But this is I believe his first attempt to actually make a more straightforward. Well, no, nothing about it is necessarily straightforward, but a more conventional horror film.
Yeah.
The trailer seems to depict a young fashion student who at night is transported to Soho or London in the 1960s, early 70s, and is experiencing life through the body of another character. And it becomes more and more clear that the experience that she is perceiving is awry. Her presence is becoming known, not the life that she's living through this person, but herself.
Yeah. Okay.
As if this individual is being who is aware of their presence. I wonder if some of it implies that this might be somewhat of a whodunit of sorts, like I'm going back in time and I'm viewing this person, and there's some very frightening things going on. I wonder if this has anything to do with what's going on now,
Yeah.
and I wonder if I can investigate that. It looks very interesting indeed.
Okay.
So yeah, if anyone's interested, Last Night in Soho, Soho. Edgar Wright has always been a very talented filmmaker. Say what you will, he is, I think, one of the most talented one of the most talented mainstream filmmakers out there. Say what you will again. Oh no, he's not that big of a filmmaker. Like he defined a generation of fucking movies 15
Right.
years ago, and he made fucking Baby Driver. If that's not fucking amazing, I don't know what is. He has this wonderful ability to blend music, timing, and set design together, and screen time together, and editing. It's very beat by beat filmmaking. Anywho, let's see. I gotta find this young lady's name. The next movie trailer that I saw was The Eternals.
Oh yes, I saw that trailer too.
Yeah. So there wasn't much to it at the moment. I don't mind. I'm not that crazy for it at the moment.
Yeah.
What I'm excited about is the person who directed this movie, Chloe Zhao, I think her name is. Recently actually just won an Academy Award for Best Director.
Yes.
For and Best Film, I believe, for Nomadland.
Oh.
One of
Okay.
her recent movies, non Marvel films. But she directed and I believe wrote some of this this film, The Eternals. The Eternals is what I can imagine looks like the story of a family of extraterrestrial beings who essentially create human civilization.
Not create. Well, I guess yeah. Create the civilization
Sorry,
part.
they
Yeah.
guide civilization.
Yeah.
God, there are a bunch of actors, and let's see if I can remember off the top of my head.
Yeah. There's a lot of actors.
What's his name? Richard Madden, I think his name is. He was what's his name? Robb Stark from
Yes.
Game of Thrones. So Richard Madden, Salma Hayek,
Yes.
Angelina Jolie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, Camille Nanjiani. What's his name from Train to Busan? It's like Donnie something.
No clue. I
doesn't matter.
actors. Yeah.
Yeah, but so essentially you got like a family, I would imagine, or like this close knit group of like 10 Eternals who have been guiding human civilization, and we don't really know too much about this story at the moment, but it looks actually really good. You and I believe about a couple months ago, were talking about how to put it. We were talking about movies and how superhero movies that aren't based off of readily noticeable or readily recognizable characters probably wouldn't stand a chance.
Yes.
I told you I had kind of a hang up of the look of superhero movies. Like I told you I saw Elektra and I
Yeah.
didn't care for the visual, like the color composition or the look or feel of that movie whatsoever. And I felt like lots of movies had that look.
Okay.
Superhero movies.
Yes.
I I don't know what it is. I saw another one too, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Yes.
That's another movie where I get that kind of vibe, where it is a very visual. I mean, it's going to have a through line of a similar through line to all Marvel movies, but there is a hint of individuality to these movies that feels risky,
Yes.
if that feels fair. I don't know if that would be, the right thing to say. Because at the end of the day, it could just be these characters, in front of a green screen. But you have on one end, you have a what I would imagine is a fairly star-studded cast. You have the Eternals with Jolie, Madden, Hayek, and a couple other actors from respective countries.
Yes.
With in a movie that doesn't seem to have a plot, or at least to the trailer doesn't seem to have a plot. And then you have Shang-Chi, which I don't know the main actor. I apologize, I don't have his name up at the moment. Who at the moment seems to be a relatively unknown actor who just got catapulted into fucking stardom with this. Awkwafina's in it, but for the most part, there's no one of immediate recognition in Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
And it still looks like a very, very entertaining movie, a very interesting swing on the Shang-Chi character.
Right.
So I'm interested in seeing where this goes. I haven't been I shaking off the dew of excitement. I haven't been too thrilled with the Disney Plus shows. I've felt that they've had very strong premises, but haven't had strong endings, which I think is one of the more important parts.
Yeah.
I want to know what's going to separate the movies from the shows.
Yeah.
Like what's gonna make Shang-Chi, and don't get me wrong, I am excited for Shang-Chi. It actually looks really good. Really well choreographed. The visuals look strong too. Again, like I said, very distinct. But what's gonna make something like Shang-Chi or the Eternals stick out in a way that differentiates it from Falcon Winter Soldier or WandaVision?
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm interested in seeing.
Yeah, I like that thought process because you're right. I'm in the same boat as you. Like the endings for those shows are kind of lackluster. So I can get behind that thought process. I would love to see what's gonna separate them from those endings because that's what people are looking at right now. They haven't had. I mean, Loki could be the thing that really, gets them over the edge. We're like, wow, this was a very good series. From what I've read about Loki, going off topic, they're saying, they had the actor basically give a course class of who Loki is in this time period because they're going to the Loki of the past after the first Avengers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who's
After
got a whole new set of things to learn.
Yeah. So, it's a different Loki than you saw at towards the end of the whatever, so it's cool that that actor who is Loki, who has played Loki for so long and is going to be basically gave them a crash course like this is how Loki is. This is his mindset. This is Loki at that time. So this is how you have to write him and portray him and all this other stuff, right? So I think that's really cool. So it's a step in the right direction of what maybe the other shows might not have had.
Hmm.
Um, um, but
I'm
again,
wondering, yeah, I'm wondering if, again, because we're looking for that third instance, that
yep,
pattern, right?
yep,
I'm wondering if it's just the typical Marvel fare where it's like we're gonna run into a bunch of shit where it's just passable. Because at the end of the day, it's like as you strip away the nostalgia about, oh, Captain America got his cool outfit from the comics, or like,
yeah,
oh, they like kind of dealt with racism,
mm-hmm,
or like, oh, Bucky this, but like they're they're passable.
yeah,
Is that
100%.
just going to be the typical Marvel, milieu where it's, well, they're just passable, and then you have something like Loki where it's like, oh my god, it's the gem, and then you get, Squirrel Girl, which is, and this isn't a knock on Squirrel Girl. I just picked one
Right.
just for whatever. But I mean, like, where the story is not as good as it could be. And I'd fucking, oh man, if they did a fucking sitcom in the way of like Squirrel Girl, that'd be fucking cool. But like, I hope that's not the case, because looking at something like Eternals and looking at something like Shang-Chi, they look like they have really, one has solid artistic design and some solid actors behind it, and
Mm-hmm.
the other one looks like it has great choreography. And
Yes.
not only that, but I'm actually looking at Shang-Chi, and we were talking about Mortal Kombat has one of the larger, almost all Asian casts. This one looks like it has an all Asian cast too. So props to them for, hopefully learning from the issue that they had with Doctor Strange,
Yeah.
because the ancient one was meant to be an Asian character, and they just,
Mm-hmm.
oh man, did they dip that character into the milk bath. But like, I'm back on topic.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're saying, I'm wondering what differentiates in terms of like, is it just arbitrary? Like, what makes Shang-Chi a movie, and what separates that in terms of quality from, you know, the next Marvel show?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. I'm looking forward to the resuming of these movies. And you know what?
Yes.
Just because it's kind of been thrown under the rug and people kind of been giving up hope left and right, I'm still very interested in seeing Black Widow.
Yeah. Same here.
I really want to see Taskmaster. I want to see them put him on. I want to see them put him on the screen.
Yeah.
I've always found him to be an interesting villain. I've never really known much about him. I've always thought he was kind of cool from like a design standpoint. I'm hearing a lot of backlash from his costume, but I actually think it's really fucking cool. So I really want to see what they do with him as a character.
And when is Black Widow supposed to come out?
I don't know. I think they might have caved though and are going to release it on Disney Plus. So let's take a look.
Yeah. I was saying that could be our first uh movie that we can go see if it's coming out soon. Because I know that was supposed to come out last
Mayhaps.
year.
July 9th, 2021 in
Ooh.
theaters, and for a minimum $30 premium Disney Plus subscription. So,
Minimum.
yeah, that might have to be a theater visit.
I'm down. July 9th. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure they'll still do like the
Hear that, Demetrius? If we get COVID,
the the day before kind of stuff. Like, you
hmm
could totally go watch the movie, come back home, record
and then watch it again.
podcasts. Yeah, and then watch it again.
Right. That would be fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I would be down for that. Oh, Jesus. I keep missing stuff. I'm going to have to mention another one. Venom.
Mm.
There will be
Mm.
carnage, or let there be carnage. Um,
Venom. That's right.
I think the best part of it is they got rid of they got rid of Woody Harrelson's Pippi Longstocking hair curls.
Yeah.
It's wonderful to see, Eddie. Truly.
um.
But I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie, I kind of like the idea of Eddie Brock kind of becoming a bit of a monster, well, more than he already is.
Yes.
You know,
I
the
mean that's
ending in that trailer.
yes. I mean, I'm down because I, at some point he does. You know what I mean? Turn because
Hmm.
it's Venom. He's a parasite. You know what I mean? So it's like, why wouldn't that happen? And then he goes rogue and fucking, Spider-Man
Hmm.
has to stop him. And
I'm interested because there has been talk that they're going to introduce Peter Parker in this movie, and I wonder how they're going to
oh,
do because this is technically okay. So the Spider-Man movies have technically been made by Sony with the Sony crew with all of the dressings of the Marvel Universe.
okay.
So I'm interested though in seeing Spider-Man in that foray because I've always considered Venom, uh, Morbius in its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll be interested to see if they are now going to be loosely brought into the MCU because now Sony has some kind of distribution deal,
Oh.
long-term distribution deal, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
with uh, Disney, and
Okay.
they have some of their movies on Disney Plus. So something had to have happened.
Yes.
So anyway, just watching Tom Hardy like stressing out while just a blob of black ass is just haphazardly cooking food and
Yeah.
singing at the top of its you say neither either like that shit is funny. Like I think that's pretty good. Like
Yes.
the emotional toll that that an annoying alien is taking on Eddie Brock I think is good. Would you like some ketchup, Eddie? Come again? Like I think that's pretty funny. And
Yes.
if you'd like, Andy Serkis, the actor who played Caesar from Planet of the Apes,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, I believe he did King Kong in King Kong and Gollum,
Mm-hmm.
is directing.
Oh shit, that's right. He is
Yep.
directing.
He directed, by the way, he directed one of the portions of the first Hobbit movie, which I actually think he did a good, really
Oh.
competent job at. So I'm excited in seeing because I believe this is technically his first like big bit.
Yeah.
I'm interested in seeing how he does.
Me too. I mean, yeah. Overall, everything about this movie, I'm excited for. So,
Oh yeah,
um,
because I think we were all unsurprisingly disappointed with Venom.
I mean,
Uh,
yes, but like I enjoyed it more than the average person. But th-
yeah, I know
there's not
one of
many
our
movies.
friends was really digging into it, but I think it was a subpar movie in terms of like how they went about like I think almost everything in my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah, yeah. I guess it's hard for me to not enjoy a
Oh
movie.
yeah, no, I mean
Yeah.
there are parts of that that I did enjoy, and I don't mean to, if you enjoy it, that's fine, and I'm not
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh, you can enjoy trash if you want, but I mean like I do really want this movie to be an improvement. I want this to be like the one of those instances where I think the sequel is genuinely better.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
At least in terms of a more cohesive story.
yes. I can get behind that.
Hmm. Because it
Um.
looks like they're going to be introducing like more not just uh not just Carnage, but they're going to be introducing a couple other symbiotes. And
Okay.
I think it's the Church of Venom or the Church of Carnage. There's going to be like a lot of theological stuff behind it too, because apparently in one of the comic or in a couple of the comic threads, there's like a church or a cult started on behalf of Carnage and Cletus Cassidy.
Oh wow. Was not
Yeah.
aware.
It's like King Diamond, right?
Yes, 100%.
Just like 9/11. But yeah, I am excited. I'm sure there's another trailer out there that needs to be voiced. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, another time perhaps.
Yes. That's basically it on our list. Do you have any outgoing things you want to talk about?
Well, let's see. Apparently, Matt Gaetz is in some deep water for sex trafficking, soliciting a minor.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of his local buddies from Florida have also attempted to cop plea deals to fuck with him. So
Oh.
you'd normally hope a guy like that is kind of screwed, but MTG, the person, not the card game,
Thank you.
the living anti-Semite, like this woman is like the literal embodiment of anti-Semitism and idiocracy, has gone on an American First tour with him in full support, apparently. So that's fun. God, I hope she's a pedophile too. Not for the people that she's pedophile, but
Yes.
just for the same kind of. For legal purposes, I must specify. Let's see. Oh, right, the forced eviction and cultural genocide of the Palestinians. God, who could forget that? Let's just point out, folks, that if it was reversed and shit was happening to the Jews, we'd all know what we'd be calling this: cultural genocide, anti-Semitism. I get that Hamas is pretty fucking awful, but they wouldn't be as fucking powerful as they would be if the Palestinian people hadn't had any other alternative but to flee into their arms for help. And, targeting press and dissident organizations that are trying to report on the issue isn't helpful, and destroying the infrastructure so that people can get tested on coronavirus and all that probably isn't fun either. So just remember that, folks. Let's see, what else? Harry, do you have any geopolitical issues you'd like to talk about?
No.
No? All right.
I'm
Well,
like, I don't steer clear of politics, but I personally try to stay away from things I have no fucking clue about.
it's okay. That's why I like to talk about them, because I don't know them either.
Like, my 2 cents when it comes to what's happening over there is, obviously I don't know what the hell's happening, right? There's always a story on both sides. And the other thing is, this thing has been happening for longer than I've been alive. So
Right.
I'm
Well,
just personally,
mhm.
I'm just gonna stay clear from it because I'm obviously not a professional on it. It's like if I were to try to give like coronavirus advice, like, yeah, I kind of give
you
out
give that coronavirus advice.
yeah, or like I try to give someone who has cancer advice, like, I, I'm not a doctor.
Don't have cancer.
Right? Just like I'm not a professional in what's happening. I'm not gonna like really, like, especially when it comes to sides. I really I'm gonna stay away because it's like I was not there in the beginning. I was not there through the whole entire thing. I no way I'm gonna put like choose a side because it's like I have no idea. But that's my stance on it. It's not that I'm trying to like ignore it. It's just I
I
really
get you.
have no clue what's happening, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna spend time researching it because I have my own shit in my own life that I'm trying to deal with. That, like, something that's happening like in my own doorstep, like I'm gonna pay attention more to that than something that's happening not in my doorstep. I know
I
it's like
getcha.
I know people are like, oh, like people would probably give me shit about it, right? But it's like, dude, it's not my job to try to figure that shit out. Like
Yeah.
there are people out there in the world that are way more qualified than I am by 1,000 million times, right? And it's like it's not, again, my job, and I'm not gonna waste any effort on my part to try to fix it because just it's not my job. I all I know is appliances. I will fix your appliance.
There you
That's
go.
my job.
And you'll fix it fucking good.
Mm-hmm. Or tell you that you need to replace it. One or the other.
You know what? You're the hero this country needs. If only this country was a fucking heater.
Right.
But hey, it's perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Oh, one more thing. No,
Mm-hmm.
not one more thing. Republicans have returned
Mm-hmm.
with their counter proposal for Biden's nearly $2.5 trillion infrastructure bill,
Okay.
which is this is fucking this is grand. So Biden went from 2.5 trillion to about 1 point something trillion, under 5, I think.
Uh-huh.
And they're like, no, we can't do that. So then he lowers it even more to, I think, 900 billion. Like, no, we can't do that. We can't do that. So it's gotten to the point where the Republicans will come back and they will offer less than a fraction of this funding. So what's going to happen in the coming months is, one, this is obviously, I'm not obviously, but this is just theater. This is bullshit. I mean,
Right.
this is just an attempt to show that the Republicans aren't willing to play ball. They'll go to their constituents and be like, we can't work with the Democrats. We just can't do it. And the Democrats will be like, well, we've slashed everything that we've been willing to slash, and you come with us with crumbs. And the moment we tell you that that's not suitable, you say that you can't work with us. So it's pretty obvious that they're going to try to pass this infrastructure bill without the Republicans. But it's going to become more clear that to get a lot of this done, they're going to have to try to get rid of the filibuster. Without the
Yeah.
filibuster, it's a joke. This is all a joke. One of the things I keep hearing is that when it comes to the debt resolution, this is where you're talking about where it's like, you don't know, so I'm not going to make an idiot of myself. I'm definitely going to make an idiot of myself.
Definitely did.
When it comes to the debt resolution, which is something that apparently needs to go through the Senate to do, might be the perfect time to get rid of the filibuster or put a vote on the filibuster, given that this is some form of like emergency act or emergency legislation that needs to go through. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I'm interested in seeing how things are going to go without the filibuster, should it be removed, and what the Biden administration can get done before 2022, because we're going to get fucking mollywopped in the midterms. Absolutely fucking wrecked. I don't know if the Republicans are going to take the House, but they're definitely going to take the Senate, in my opinion. No, not the Senate. Maybe. I don't fucking know. So.
Fair enough. Again, I don't know much about politics. I generally rely on people who enjoy that stuff to do their thing. I'm glad I don't have to pay as much attention to politics as I did during the past 4 years.
When a certain red ape was in the White House.
Yeah. While Simeon Spirit Guide was in the White House, I was I had to pay attention to politics, and I'm kind of glad that I don't have to, like, I still pay attention, right? Like I
I get
need
you.
to, right? I'm an American voter. I gotta pay attention to some stuff. Um, but I can't as a Californian, I can't really do shit about other fucking states, right? So
Yeah.
like, there's not much
You
I
could
can
write
do.
a sternly worded letter.
I could, but again, that much effort is not going to be thrown into that. I would rather do it in something else.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah. So it's like the best I can do is just pay attention to my local government, vote when I need to, and stuff like that. But when it comes to Senate and Congress and if we're gonna lose midterms and all that, like, dude, I have no idea. Like, you know what I mean? No one knows. You know, some people,
Yeah.
some are like, oh, Trump's not gonna win. Hillary's not gonna lose this, and then she lost, and then everyone's like, oh, we're gonna probably win the White House, but the Republicans are still gonna keep the Senate, and then here you go, they're fucking 50-50. So it's like no one can really know what's gonna be the full outcome. Like, you can probably guess that California's gonna go blue
We're
the majority
good.
of the time, but
Mhm.
there's those swing states that you really just have no clue.
That I fucking despise.
Yeah,
God, I can't wait till global warming puts Florida entirely underwater.
um,
Did I say that out loud?
what I will say is that as someone who is in the millennial age bracket, um, it's cool to see that a place like Georgia was able to flip the way it did. And
Mm-hmm.
I think obviously it's all credit to the people who promoted and worked really, really hard to convince people to
Yeah,
vote.
Stacey Abrams and her team.
Yeah, because I mean, if you try to do that in most majority red states, it probably won't happen, right? But it's proven that it can work there. Who's
Mm-hmm.
to say that it won't work in other countries that were closer? Like,
Agreed.
what was the other? Was it South Carolina or I think it was South
Yeah, I
Carolina
think it
that,
was
that,
South
that got
Carolina.
really
Yeah.
close to flip as well. Like, so
Mm-hmm.
there's things like that that are like, well, I mean, if Georgia did it, South Carolina got really close. Like, what's to stop from those states from flipping?
Mm-hmm.
To
Voter
show.
suppression laws. That's what.
Oh yeah, those, I forgot about those. So I stand
Yeah.
corrected. Never mind.
Fuck Republicans.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's voter suppression, but it's still not stopping. Like, if people still go out to vote, whatever the rules are, like, that's gonna help them. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, see, that's the point, is that Republicans tend to like vote in person, and
yeah,
they tend to vote in blocks. That's the thing, is that they're not outright preventing people from voting. They're just making it really fucking hard for people who are already in weak positions to vote.
mhm.
To vote.
Yeah,
And
and,
that's the fucking shitty part.
yeah, and uh, I think what some I don't know if I know Biden was no, I don't think it was Biden. It was Sanders who was saying that voting day should be like a mandatory like day off, so like everyone who's like supposed to be working like has that day off to go vote. Like, it's like
Goddamn right it should be.
stuff like that. It's like, well, like, it's like that would help, like, if Biden is able to do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what happened in Georgia really showed, I think, other states that it's possible. Like, if some place like Georgia is able to do it, right, can flip to have Biden win the state and also have both Senate seats turn blue. It's like that's huge. So it's like,
Oh yeah.
what's to stop South Carolina from doing it? Florida has been one of those that flip flops, here and there, and
Mm-hmm. As a swing state, yeah, but
Yeah.
again, their legislature's a fucking
Right.
and their governor.
Yeah.
It's nothing but a red shit show over there.
Yeah. But it's like yeah. So I think it shows other states that it's possible. One state that I don't think it's. I don't know. We'll see. But Texas, I know a lot of people from California are moving out to Texas, and that
Sadly,
state.
not as much.
What were you gonna say?
Harry?
Yeah. Go ahead. You're
Harry?
saying
Oh, there you are.
it's.
Okay. No, I was just saying a bunch of people moved from the northeast of Texas too, so it's pretty red too still.
Yeah. But it's still one of those that like maybe the Republican presidential candidate will probably win, but who's to say that Ted Cruz is gonna keep his seat, right?
Oh God, I'd love that
You
if
know
he
what I'm
lost
saying?
it.
Like, there's a lot of things that happened that just is not going his way. That no one's asking him to resign or anything at the moment. Um, at least from what I've seen in the Republican
Yeah, no.
side. But at the same time, I'm sure people are seeing what's happening. Like, I might not vote for him. You know what I mean?
I hope so. I think his position is a little too strong, but
Oh,
I just think it says something less about him and the region that's voting for him and more about the party itself that
yeah,
is willing to keep someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene and him in who
yeah,
can just say the most vitriolic, incoherent, and unfounded things and nothing. The
yeah,
Republican Party will be completely silent. And it's
yeah.
like they're one thing that I hear a lot, not a lot. I heard I heard someone say, "What's when you think about it, what's a more dangerous organization like Al Qaeda or ISIS or the Republican Party?" The
Mm,
Republican Party, some Democrats. I'm not this. I'm not averse to blaming a Democrat. I'm not a Democrat,
right.
but let's be honest. The blame is majorly in the hands of Republicans who stall pretty much every single social bit of legislation, every bit of infrastructural legislation, every
Yeah,
social safety net, every welfare program that goes to helping people, to fostering a better economy. They hide it under the guise of freedom.
mm,
American values this and American values that, but it's only for me, not for thee. Let me and my company get this subsidy or this tax break, but you know, pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
right.
So anywho, fuck Republicans.
Yeah. You ready
Basically.
to? You ready to end this?
Yeah, I am. It's been so long, Harry.
Yeah.
I hate for your touch. Harry, I was kidding. Don't get so sweaty.
I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been so embarrassing.
I thought you dropped, and I
Doesn't
was like,
matter.
"Oh fuck."
No. Why would I drop?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, folks, you know what? I think I know what's been going on, Harry.
Oh.
I think I know why we haven't been getting the amount of views and dropped panties that we should have been getting.
Oh.
It's because I haven't been telling anyone to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Oh shit.
I've been saying to go on to it, but not to like and subscribe. Go onto our YouTube channel, Hitting the Mark with Harry and Mark. Like and subscribe. Go to Twitter, capital H, capital T, capital M, _ podcast. I'll say it again, HTM _ podcast. Tweet us? Twat?
Yep. Tweet. Yep.
Do that
Tweet.
thing with the tweeter. And then email hittingthemark2020@gmail.com. Email us, tell us how shit we are, tell us how great we are, tell us about anything that we could do to change or add or modify to the podcast. That was a perfect fucking outro. That was an even fucking better intro. I am the height of my own civilization. Next week, you're doing the whole thing.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, that's right, fucker. We will be on next week. You can
Yeah, we are.
fucking believe it, Demetrius. Anywho, folks, it was a pleasure. We look forward to chatting with you again, okay?
Bye-bye.
Auf Wiedersehen, assholes.